Hey guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Tom.
Woo!
The Bible
Fanatics! Yeah!
And, oh man, I'm so glad you're here with us today because today we're learning the next 6 books, Paul's letters to his friends.
That's right. Now last week, boys and girls, we learned all about some of the letters that Paul wrote to churches that he helped to start.
Exactly.
From Rome to Ephesus to Corinth and more. Now this week, we're going to look at the rest of his letters, as Tom said.
Right, because you know what? When most people write letters, they don't write letters to big groups of people. Well, Paul is no exception. We write letters to one person, our friends.
That's right.
So these next few letters, we're going to be learning about how to encourage each other as Christian friends.
That's right.
And how to get along as Christian friends. So we're going to look at these next intimate letters from Paul.
That's right. Now the first one is
1 Thessalonians.
1 Thessalonians. So let's look at that. These letters were written to the church at
Thessalonica.
That's right. Now, but they are a little bit more personal than the other church letters. See, the Thessalonians were undergoing a lot of persecution for their faith, boys and girls. So Paul, he wanted to remind them that Jesus would one day return and their suffering would end. So for the first 2 letters, okay, we're talking about today, Thessalonians, let's do this. Count 1 and then 2 and then make a T with your hands, putting the left one on top of the right one.
That's right. It's important to put your left on right because we have 5 T's in a row. Because after 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, the next books or letters were written to Timothy.
Yes.
Now, young Timothy was a helper of Paul's who later became a pastor. So all of these writings in these letters to Timothy are good for pastors even today. So we're going to learn 1st and 2nd Timothy by doing 1 and 2, and Timothy making a T with our right hand on top this time. That's 4 T's, and there's 1 more T.
That's right. And the next one is Titus. Now, Titus was traveling with Paul when he went to the island of Crete and started a new church there. Now, Titus, he stayed to help lead the new church.
Right.
And Paul, he wrote this letter of advice, is what it is, to Titus. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to tie a bow in the air with our hands to remember the name Titus. So Titus.
Right. So we have 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy,
Right.
and Titus.
Very good.
And the last book was written to a man named Philemon. Paul wrote this letter to a man named Philemon, and it was about a slave that Philemon owned named Onesimus. Now, not only did Paul want Philemon to welcome and forgive Onesimus, but he also wanted him to welcome him back as a new brother in Christ, because he was a slave and now he's been set free. So to remember Philemon, we are going to act like we're in chains and then be set free.
That's right. Man, awesome job. Boys and girls, I want y'all to do this with me. Can you remember and review with us the 6 books that we learned today? Okay?
Easy.
I think we can do it.
5
here we go.
T's and a P.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, bam. 1, 2, bam.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it.
1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Timothy, Titus, and Philemon.
That's exactly right.
Easy.
Man, I'm so proud of you guys, and we're close to the end now.
That's right. So keep on memorizing all the way from
Genesis through Philemon.
excellent.
See you next week. Good job.
Excellent.